Hi guys, how are you doing today? And you know we're going to do what? Story time once again. My name is Constance and welcome to another episode of my English class. Today we're going to be doing the George and Venus story, right? And you remember the last episode, George threw the paper away that Mr. Thomas gave to him so he could study the phone numbers and the names of the businessmen that he does business with. And George just threw that paper away. All right, so we're going to pick up from where we have left off and see where the story is going, right? Alone, it's a very windy out here, so bear with me there. Alone, George Greenback sat on the floor of his bedroom, carefully studying the sheet of paper Richard Thomas had placed into his hand late Friday evening. He had been going through the names and phone numbers of the oil customers listed there, trying hard to memorize each and every name written on the piece of paper until it was around midnight. Feeling weary and tired, George used his luggage to create his pillow and then went off sleeping. Large glass windows, lack of curtains, allowing bursts of sunlight throughout the entire house. Saturday morning quickly had George's eyes open and soon reminded him of his day's activities. Realizing that his life was fastly moving to a 360-degree turnaround, George immediately jumped to his feet and got himself washed and completely groomed for the day. Moments later, George went through his front door and hastily began making his way down Nesbury Hill, hoping to make a proposition with his boss at the mechanic shop, Mr. Zeeman, because fixing and building cars had been his passion for many years. But being faced with a new opportunity which would bring him quicker success in the near future, George really wanted to make a go for it. He wanted to make some money, especially now that he had moved into a new house and was expected to pay for the utilities in the dwelling place shared with his girlfriend Venus Thomas. Mr. Zeeman was seated inside his office when George arrived at the mechanic shop. "Good morning, boss man," George said after tapping on the door of the office with his knuckles. "Good morning, George," the senior mechanic responded with a surprise showing on his face. "What has brought you here this early of the morning?" Mr. Zeeman continued to ask. "Boss man, I need your help, sir. I really need your help in this matter. And that's why I'm here this early in the morning," George answered. For a while, Zeeman sat there quietly with a puzzled look on his face, wondering what could be his trainee's dilemma. "Talk up. Let me hear if I can help you determine to fix this problem," Zeeman said with a serious face. "My girlfriend's father is demanding that I come and work for him, and I don't want to break the agreement I have with you or with the school which had sent me here. And the truth of the matter, sir, I really love my mechanic work, but I also think I should make use of this great opportunity. Therefore, sir, I was wondering if you could arrange a specific time when I could come here and work so I could still further and complete my trade here and obtain my credentials. It's very important to me, sir. I beg of you to make some help for me, to give me some help, sir," George expressed. Zeeman now had his index finger pressing to the temple of his head, thinking. Finally, he asked, What kind of work is this Mr. Thomas is introducing you to? George wasn't too sure if he should share all the details of this new position. Therefore, he answered, "It's a sale position, sir. Everything in life is for sales." The senior mechanic interjected. "What will you be selling?" he continued to ask harshly, as though his tongue was glued to the roof of his mouth. George barely uttered, "Oil, sir, oil." "Did I hear you well? Did you just say oil?" exclaimed Zeeman, standing to his feet with eyes bulging. "Yes, sir," George responded softly while nodding his head. "If you're going to be selling oil, you don't need a shitty job. Oil business is a very big business, and from what I have heard, 2 or 3 sales can turn you into an instant millionaire," Zeeman expressed with much enthusiasm. "I honestly don't think so, sir. I know nothing about that," George fired back, responding. His proposition was taking longer than he thought and began sounding more complicated than he had imagined. George was now feeling flustered, but with a deep breath, he managed to put the conversation back on track. "It doesn't matter how much that sale position is going to pay me. What I really need from you now is a specific time when I can come here and improve my trade, sir. If you could just grant me this one favor, I would be very grateful, sir," George expressed sternly, with both hands behind him as he leaned against the door of the office. Laughingly, the senior mechanic asked, "Would you like for us to trade places for a month?" "Okay, George," Eric chatted. "Don't answer that," he said repeatedly, pushing out chuckles with both hands in the air, while pushing out chuckles with both hands in the air. "You're a good young man, George, and I really want the best for you. So what I could do for you is allow you to work in the evenings from Monday to Friday, and I'll supervise your work every other day. And please, use your phone to communicate with me. If I'm not around, or write your findings, state your suggestions, or throw your question on papers so we can both be on the same page. Is that good enough for you?" the shop owner asked. "Thank you very much, sir," George said, falling to his knees. Soon he was up from his knees and extending his hand to Mr. Zeeman and giving him a hearty handshake. Recalling the appointment he had with Richard Thomas, the cornerstone of his future success, George hastily told Mr. Zeeman goodbye and bolted out of his office, not caring to be late for his shopping trip. Swift and brisk strides brought George Greenback to his house on Nesbury Hill. Thankfully, Richard Thomas hadn't reached there as yet. George's mind was now on Venus. He desperately wanted to call her and share with her his feelings of loneliness and this actual one-man show he was about to venture out on. But since Venus had promised him she would call him and inform him about when she would be returning home, he allowed the thoughts about her to slip away from his mind and started focusing on the date he had with her father instead. "How is this day going to be, my lord?" George said, wondering. But before several scenarios could flash through his mind, there came the big black Benz truck driving up to his house on Nesbury Hill. Richard Thomas soon exited from around the steering wheel and started making his way towards the front door of George's house. Meanwhile, George stood there waiting to see the crew of the security men trailing behind him. But there were none. Only the well-rich millionaire man made his way to Nesbury Hill. George wanted to ask him about his bodyguards, but he knew being too inquisitive in the businessman affairs could bring about much dislike or insults. Nonetheless, without a word of ado, Mr. Thomas inquired, "How was your meeting with your boss at the mechanic shop today, George?" It went well, sir," George answered. "I'll work with him in the evenings and at your office in the mornings." "Well, I see we are getting someplace now," Thomas said with a braggadocious smile. "We need to invest in proper clothing so you can be presentable running this office and show up at meetings whenever such cases should arise," expressed Mr. Thomas as he rested his hand around George's shoulder and led him towards the big, black, expensive truck. Now, George, we are going shopping," Mr. Thomas said with a chuckle. Okay, guys, this is the end of episode 9. This is the end of episode 9, and I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope you have found a name and give the story a title, guys. Please give the story a title, guys. You see how we are building the story slowly but surely. Look at all the different scenarios that could happen and that are excited, that could go into the story, that could be placed into the story. All right, that is how we build a story. Step by step by step, we are going from phase 1 and we're all the way now to episode 9. I hope you have liked this story, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so whenever I post a video you will be the first to know. Look at the number on each video for story time, and you can follow the story from episode 1 to episode 9, guys. All right, and give the story a title. Let me know what you think about the story, guys, and give me your input. All right, my name is Constance, and I thank you for watching, and I look forward to you joining me in my next class. Until then, bye-bye, and remember to hit the notification bell so whenever I post a video you will be the first to have it. All right, don't be stingy with your subscription, don't be stingy with your sharing. Please like, subscribe, and share, and check the description box for my merch. All right, whether it's books or t-shirt like this, similar to this, you can find there. All right, guys, love you and appreciate your love and support. Until my next class, bye-bye.